congregatio et secta diabolica, in nomine et virtute Domini nostri Jesu Christi, eradicare et effugare.
Hello there, Boo Crew. Hello. The fuck was that?
Oh, I thought we were starting.
Yeah, we are starting.
Oh, okay.
Welcome to another episode of Paranormal Howl Hour. I'm your host, Paranormal Howl. And with me is my amazing co-host and little troublemaker, Jinx. How you doing tonight, Jinx?
I'm good.
Oh, all right.
All right. I'm good.
That's great.
Yeah.
How you feeling? What's shaking? What's new? We are officially in our October. How you feeling?
My favorite season. I'm excited.
I know, it's a good one. The leaves are already falling. It's finally starting to get that chill in the air. It actually feels like October, which is nice.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I love summers because I love warm weather. And it's a plus that I live on the coast now and I get to enjoy the weather by the ocean. This is when it really starts for me. Everything starts getting exciting. It's like the ramp up. September is like the ramp up, like the busy season for us of all the good things that we enjoy doing.
Yeah, Halloween starts on the 1st of October for us. It always has for me and my family, and you're part of that now. So,
and you did an amazing job, like getting us ready for Halloween before the 1st of October this year. You did an amazing job.
Well, thanks. Someone had to do it, so
I'm a little under the weather, so I couldn't partake in the outside, but
you've been very busy with spooky sweets and treats.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to give you flack for that, but. The outside's kind of my domain anyway. I like to mess about outside, and you see all that. See the half the tree I cut down to make sure you can see the bat in the tree.
You did not.
I pulled an Edward Scissorhands on that tree.
Oh,
you know what?
The one that we watched this year.
Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like Halloweeny, but
it's Halloweeny, Christmassy. It's that age-old debate of is Nightmare Before Christmas Halloween or Christmas movie. Same thing with Edward Scissorhands. Is it a Halloween or a Christmas movie?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm down for watching it if it's available on any of the streaming networks that we have. Because I ain't paying for shit.
Yeah. Makes me want to go on a Johnny Depp marathon, though. Every time I see one of his movies, I want to go on a marathon.
Well, he has,
but not like Pirates marathon. I mean, I'm talking about like all of his other stuff.
Well, he's had some scary movies that he's done.
You got any new stuff up your sleeve?
Up my sleeve?
Yeah.
No. Not even know what I have up my sleeve.
I don't know. I mean, I'm usually the one that has the hijinks, but I don't got nothing.
Well, we had a fun family Halloween party this past weekend.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun having the family over, just kind of chilling out. We watched the new Salem's Lot 2024 on Max.
Yeah.
And no one except for me has seen the original one from 1978 or 1979, or they don't remember it because it was such a long time ago. And I have to say, we gave it a 4 out of 5 howls. It was really good. I enjoyed it.
I liked it too. Yeah, nobody knew what it was about, but you've read the book, you've listened to the book, you watched the movie. Yeah. I think everybody enjoyed it, though. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was actually a really good rendition, and I'm not really one to sit there and say, oh, the reboot was so much better than the first, because I'm a true believer of, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Okay, but I'm going to catch you on that one in just a second. But yeah, I do want to go back and I want to see the original one.
Well, we can do that tonight.
Okay. We've been on an escapade with our 4-legged son in Disney Plus Halloween today. He's been lounging on the couch, but
yeah.
But no, I had a lot of fun.
I can't believe that he watches TV the way that he does.
The tacos were delish.
Oh yeah, we had a taco bar. We did a
Yeah.
taco bar for the spooky movie night with the fam.
Yeah, Spooky Boo made Brains Rice Krispie treats.
Yeah, those were so good. You did a really good job on those. So much better than the
you
Rice
gonna
Krispie
say?
treats you buy in the store. I don't know why that was so hard for me to get out. Yeah, you did an awesome job with those brains, those Rice Krispie brains. All right, so you're going first this week.
I guess so.
What do you mean you guess so?
It's my turn.
It is your turn.
I have another short story, but so I did a short story, but then I actually came across a documentary of somebody going to this place and their events that happened. So
Oh, okay.
I try to do my best to find things that people don't, that Mr. Beckons hasn't covered yet.
The typical stuff. The typical stuff that all of the paranormal community go after.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, after a while it gets boring. I do like the variety of take on different things with different ghost hunters and paranormal investigators and mediums, so on and so forth. I do like to compare the TV shows to one another. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely. Both the Amy's are great.
Yeah, Amy Bruni, Amy Allen.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out. You'll never listen to this, but
What? Oh my gosh, what's my girl's name?
Oh.
Last name Cindy.
Cindy Kaza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, you have not seen her. She's amazing.
Yeah, she has a prominent role in that TV show that we would like to watch, the Holzer Files.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's a good show. It's not, they don't shoot it anymore, but
No, but it's yeah. And then she was on the end of
the Haunting Files, is
the
that what it's called?
Haunting Files. Yeah, with the New York detective,
The Dead Files
the Dead Files. Yeah, thank you. I'm
with
sorry.
Amy Allen.
Yeah. So at the very end, Amy Allen has to step out of it,
Oh no.
and Cindy comes in.
Oh,
Yeah.
I haven't gotten there yet. There's a new season of that, isn't there?
I don't know.
We're gonna have to look into that.
Yeah, they're all good. And I think that I would revisit all of the old stuff if I could visit there and partake in what may or may not happen. I mean, we've been to the Conjuring house, obviously, but not overnight.
Be careful what you say. It's a very litigious house now.
Don't get me started.
I would shit if the owner listened to this and we
Don't
get a fucking cease and desist letter. Oh, that would be hilarious. Less than 100 listeners and a lawsuit. Hey, any publicity is good publicity.
I know, but she just needs to go away.
Yeah, I mean, we should definitely talk about the Conjuring house at some point because you and I, yeah, like you said, we've been there and we have our own take on it.
And our all of 6 listeners, give us your input of how you felt before and present.
Yeah, our 6 wonderful listeners.
Yeah,
I really appreciate
you.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Boo Crew, you're tiny but mighty.
And the one that's way over in the UK.
That's right. That's right. Someone in Vietnam listened to our stuff.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Whoever you are, awesome.
Yeah.
I wish we had more. I guess it's kind of my fault. I should probably post more than once a week.
Maybe we will once we get
Yeah.
jamming.
I wish we had more, not exposure, because whatever, right? If only 6 people listen to it, I'm fine with that. Gather round. This is the campfire
Yeah.
stories time, but
You know,
I wish
6
we had more interaction.
7 more and we'd have a coven.
All right. Relax over there, witchy lady. All right. So your story.
Yeah.
Hit me with it.
What I got for you. Okay. So last week we were in Alaska and Canada. I went to the great state of Nevada this week. We're back in the desert again.
Okay.
But the desert a lot of the desert was covered. It was a sea at one point. That's
Sure.
how we got the Grand Canyon. So when you think of Nevada, what do you like? And if you think of water, most people just think of Lake Mead, Lake Tahoe. Those are primarily the 2 big ones. There's a third one
Okay.
that I did not know about until I dove down into this story.
Okay.
It's called Pyramid Lake. Have you ever heard of it?
No, I've heard of the no. Isn't there a pyramid casino?
Maybe.
I don't know. What is that pyramid, that casino?
The pyramid?
Yeah, what is that?
MGM.
Ah, shit. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, so we're
That's all I know about. I know that's it.
it's not relative. But there is a part I did post pictures for you, and like there's a part of this lake that literally is tiered. Now that you say that, it's like tiered like MGM. So
Get out.
no, I'm not kidding. Now that you just said that, I'm like, wait, there's a part, and I don't know if that's man-made. I didn't zoom into the picture, but there's a reason why it's called pyramid, and I'll get into that. So
Okay.
yes. So there is another very, very popular lake that I did not know of, and it is primarily notarized for its fishing because the fishing was almost like all of the fish were going extinct when Nevada started getting colonized by all of the panners and, for silver and gold and everything.
For the gold rush?
Yeah, it was, they were making a lot of the fish extinct. Well, there is a fish, and I do not know how to pronounce it. If somebody does, bless you. But it's Cuici. It is a fish that has stood to the test of like 2 million years. There is another trout that everybody just flocks for, and it's the Lahoitan trout. That's what is primarily made. Aside from the fishing, Pyramid Lake is one that is known for the surroundings because of how it was made, the fishing. There are also things that are lurking in the water that some say that nightmares are made of. So we'll see. We'll see how you guys fare in the rating of the nightmare. Pyramid Lake is what remains of Lake Lahontan. Lake Lahontan was an inland sea that covered the majority of Nevada just over 2 million years ago, in the same way that the Central Valley of California was an inland sea. It was when the lake was an inland sea. So the uniqueness of this lake is that when it was an inland sea, tufa was growing underneath the water. And I did not know what that was, but it was because of the geothermal activity that was happening underneath, which means it's in carbonate minerals precipitate out of water of unheated rivers and lakes, if that makes sense to any of you guys. But it's a variety of limestone. So, all these rock climbers, the indoors,
Yes.
the makeshift rocks are supposed to be tufa rocks.
Can you spell that?
Tufa. 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 Tufa.
Tufa.
Tufa.
Tufa.
Mm-hmm.
Not too close. Tufa.
Yeah. So it can be seen all around the lake now. The largest of the tufas is what actually John C. Fremont saw and gave it its name because it's actually shaped like a pyramid. I shared a picture of that too. I'm not even fond of this guy after reading about him. But where this is located, the Paiute tribe lived for generations, and they actually shared the area with two other tribes. Friendly. There's petroglyphs, I guess, all over the place of the tribes. It wasn't until John C. Fremont located the lake in 1843 that the area was known to those outside of the tribe. Hence, here comes the prospectors coming in for the gold and the silver, copper. So the tribes had found themselves on attack all the time from these prospectors trying to take over their land. But in May 1860, despite a group of prospectors coming from Virginia City, the men were fought off by the tribes. They were able to capture some of it. To this day, not all of it, because of course, not to be horribly political, but, the natives got their land taken away from them, which was shitty and upsetting. But they still do capture some of it. To kind of sum it all up, this lake is terminal. And for people who don't know what that means, because I did not, it means it has an inlet, but not a true outlet. So the inlet comes from the Truckee River that flows through it. And in all, totaling, it's 750 miles.
Wow, that's really long.
Yeah. I think Lake Mead is longer. I think it's 1,200 or something like that. Anyways, it is that portion of it is still owned by the Paiute tribe. Because it is an inlet, a terminal lake, and it has an inlet and not a true outlet, there are a number of underwater shelves and caves and structures that cannot. So these underwater shelves and caves were captured by the scuba divers. And wind conditions can be very hard on this lake. The wind speeds can change dramatically, which I thought they kind of did on lakes all the time anyway. Guess not. But because of the structural part of the lake and the caves, that's what dramatically shifts it. And people just, like, everything goes to shit if you're on the lake and the wind picks up. Like, they will tell you when you go on the lake, if the wind picks up, get off. So when this has happened, it seems the only logical resolution as to why people go missing off of this lake, because that is one of the big things about this lake is more people go missing off of this lake than any other lake.
Oh, I have thoughts, but okay, go ahead.
With that, there is a theory with the Paiutes that they tell you to beware of water babies.
No.
Have you ever heard of water babies?
I've heard of matter babies.
They're not matter babies. So water babies different from region.
Have you ever heard of matter babies?
But I didn't want to hear about the water babies either, but I'm telling a story about it. You'll have to tell me about the matter babies.
Okay, just remind me after this.
Okay. All right. So yes, there is the natives will not so much talk about it. They won't really tell you anything about it because it's unspoken, but it is very much a true tale that they say that there are water babies that are amongst the Pyramid Lake. They're also known as, okay, here we go with that, the pronunciation, Pakniwat, which is mysterious spirits that live in bodies of water. They are said to look like beautiful human babies, some with fishtails, and are guardians of the waters they live in. One of the tales is, moreover than not, I think this one is the one that is mostly spoken of, is many, many years ago, the Paiute would drown malformed and premature babies in the lake in order to weed out the weak as to keep the tribe strong, because it was one of the strongest tribes in that region.
Wow.
You're looking at me like, oof.
Well, that's awful. That's absolutely awful.
So allegedly, you can still to this day hear the crying and the wailing throughout the lake.
No.
Especially early morning and evening hours. And during the springtime prime fishing, which leads to all of the people going onto the lake for the Lahontan trout that everybody is wanting. So it's the infamous fish of the lake. The water babies tend to be very vengeful, reportedly responsible for calamities ranging from equipment malfunctions to boating accidents to disappearances. Some accounts say that they target the fishermen and they lurk just below the surface, waiting for an opportunity to seize and drown those that get too close to the water. Other accounts are less dramatic, saying that if you hear or see a water baby, you will be cursed with bad luck. So keep that in mind.
Yeah.
One of the older legends than that one, this one more intrigues me. I mean, I'm very sad, but when something, it's just like when we were watching that show today, when you said the more awful something is, the more real it probably is. It's more the truth. We were watching a horrible show today.
I said the more unbelievably awful it sounds, the more true it probably is.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I can believe. I mean, you think of a tribal nation trying to, it had a lot to contend with. So I could see them doing that. I mean, what's any different than them weeding out the weak when we would just send ours to Asylum, right?
I mean, hamsters eat their babies.
Oh my God.
I hate when you say that. Okay. So the one legend that I am more on siding on that I think could possibly happen, and it is the lesser of the two that is told, is of a Native American woman who had 2 children. She took her children down to the river to bathe them, but they were dragged under by the current. When she had discovered that her children had drowned, she took them to a burial site to bury them. She cried so hard over her children's grave that it filled with water and became Pyramid Lake.
Oh.
The woman then laid by the lake to watch her children, where she turned to stone. To this day, her babies can be heard in the lake with their terrified cries for their mother to save them. Angered that they are forever lost in the waters, they prey on deceiving you by what you hear and what you see. And once close enough, they drag the unsuspecting victims down to drown to keep them to be a part of the lake forever and never to be found. Now, here's the part where I'm like, this is more of like a native legend. The lake mysteriously is salt water with no outlet.
What?
So they say that her tears made the lake. Your tears, salt water.
That's beautiful.
And that's why there's no outlet.
Her tears are trapped just like her children.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know. Isn't that crazy? So I'm like, oh my God, here I am telling
but
a sad story again.
like her kids don't have to be killing people though.
Oh, they're very angry.
Well,
However oddly and mysterious that it may be, if you believe in the water babies, if you don't, is that people who have drowned in Pyramid Lake have been located in Lake Tahoe.
so there's what are they called?
So remember when
There's a whirlpool.
I remember when I said that there were caves
Yeah.
and there's an inlet. The Pyramid Lake is connected via the Truckee River.
Mm-hmm.
So Lake Tahoe overflows into the Pyramid Lake,
Mm-hmm.
meaning that water somehow flowed backward to transport the bodies. So somehow there was an exchange through the caves.
And Lake Tahoe is a freshwater lake.
Yeah. Which doesn't explain like how there wouldn't be salt lake getting in Lake Tahoe. But yeah, they're very little mysterious spirits. They also can inhabit springs and sometimes ponds. Water babies they take on the form of a human infant. Obviously, if the folklore is true that, the Paiute took the malformed and weak and drowned them. But it is said that some of the tribes present them as having fish tails and appear reptilian. They resemble the cries of the babies. So they're not really, they're kind of on the cryptic side, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, yeah, the cry, though. So the cry of the baby, when you hear it, is an omen of death. And for you just merely responding to the baby's crying, and you ever think that you see it in the water and try to pick it up, causes absolute catastrophe. You end game here with the babies forever. I dug a little deeper because I just had to, right? And I'm like, okay, people go to this lake to fish because, there's this infamous fish that is only in this lake that has surpassed, what do you call it? Ice Age, whatever.
Yeah, it's survived.
Yeah.
It's survived.
The whole, I don't know if it's from the underwater shells. Not sure. So there's this gentleman that decided he was going to take a little trip on the lake, hired a guide, and to his dismay, he asked, it's called the Lahontan cutthroat trout. Sorry. So, true story. Here we go. There was a gentleman named Dan. He was talking to two of his colleagues, Jennifer and Shelley, about, hiring a guide named Steve, going out to try to catch one of these infamous trout. And speaking with the women, they're like, oh my God, have you not heard of Pyramid Lake? Like, you can't go fishing there. The water babies are on that lake. So he started delving down into it, and he was like, paranormal, fish, I'm out there. I'm on it. I'm doing it. So got his guide, and the only thing that he had to say was there was two questions that he asked him is, I want to catch a Lahontan cutthroat on my Zebco, which I guess is a fishing rod. I don't know. And how worried do I need to be about the water babies? And so his guide just kind of looked at him like he was a moron. And he said, you don't have to worry about the problems of the water babies as long as you do good and respect the resources the lake has to offer. So here we go with the respect again.
This fucker pissed in the lake, didn't he?
Oh, no, he really didn't. There was one thing that the guide told him. So I guess there's differences in the way that you fish bass versus trout. And when he was fishing, I guess you don't, because it's part of a reservation, you have to go through like an entrance. And he saw a missing person sign, and he was talking to one of the natives about it. And when he spoke of the water babies, I don't know anything about that. Good luck fishing.
Lies.
Just respect the resource. Like she even said it, like just respect the resources, right?
Mm.
So they get out there, they get on the boat, they're fishing. The guide says, I have one tip to tell you. Only set it once. So I guess in bass fishing, you can, I don't know. I guess there's a difference in only one hook set versus two. And because out of habit, he set the hook again, and it immediately, like he had a fish. He had one, and he said, oh, it's a good one. It came up, and some of these fish, like if you know what a trout looks like, right?
Yeah.
Like
they're
it's very
ugly.
silvery.
Oh, yeah. Silver.
I mean, some of them are rainbow and they have like a pinkish hue to them. But he said, oh, yeah, it was a good 10-pounder. So out of habit, he set the hook again, and it pissed the guide off. And he was like, okay, new rule. Don't set the hook at all. Just reel in fast. So they were going through the motions, and, they caught a couple of them. And out of the corner of the gentleman's eye, he thought that he saw a tumbleweed on the lake. And he's like, this is really, he was like, he wasn't really grasping that there was a tumbleweed out on the lake. Right? So, and he looks around and he's like, there's really not any like on the shore either. Because like when you think of like seeing like tumbleweeds, they're like,
don't ask me what I think about when you say tumbleweeds.
I know what you think about. Oh man.
Tumbleweeds and Valvoline, Mom. Tumbleweeds and Valvoline.
All right. So there was one last place. He couldn't get it out of his head that he saw this tumbleweed. There was one place that he looked, and there was one last fish that he caught. Mm-hmm. But he said, this fish looks pretty beat up from being worked because it was part of the hatchery.
Yeah.
To keep this fish in stock. And a lot of times that's just, that's what you get from being a fish. You have you get a fish on your hook, but it may not be one that you can actually keep, you have to throw it back.
Right. There's
always that instance that it's not going to make it. And so the guide was saying, don't read too much into it. At least it will, if it does die, it'll be food for the birds or another fish or whatever. I mean, he felt a bit guilty about it. They let it go. He saw it flying off. Swimming off. Why did I say flying off?
You're thinking about the tumbleweeds.
I know. I'm thinking of the tumbleweeds. Because he couldn't understand why he was seeing it. Back to reality. 3 days later, he plays basketball. And he was playing basketball with a more skilled player and got elbowed in the mouth. Like a hard hook elbow. Spot almost broke his jaw, which developed into a sinus infection, then an abscess. So when he finally got around to seeing the dentist after a month, he took a look in his mouth and said, this tooth is unrecoverable. It was vertically split. So literally he took a right hook from an elbow, and he had a crown. From the crown to the root, it just split right in the middle.
That sounds so painful.
It does sound very painful. So here he goes in his mind. He was just fishing.
Yeah.
He's like, there's 3 possible explanations for why I got a cracked tooth. Just days after fishing the Pyramid Lake. What he saw in the water wasn't a tumbleweed. Remember, they'll make you see things.
Yeah.
My handling of that last fish wasn't respectful enough for the lake's resources.
No.
Or the incidences are unrelated. And given the amount of basketball that I play and my general lack of defense skills, he was wondering that he had any teeth at all.
Oh.
So he was inclined to believe the latter explanation. You never know. And after all, the 2 men that he saw in the missing poster are still missing. And you wonder why I'm scared of water.
Well, I'm wondering why you're scared of water, but you keep doing water topics.
Because I'm terrified of water.
So you think this will like stop you from being scared of it?
I don't think it'll stop me from being terrified. I'm just bringing more examples to the table of why I'm terrified of water.
Wow.
And why my feet belong on land.
Okay, well,
If I had a fin, I would belong in the water. I have feet.
true.
Yeah.
Water babies.
Yeah, you should. Oh, and then
Do you have pictures of the water babies?
I posted pictures of the water babies for you. I even did I did the one. I'll send them to you. I even did the AI one, but there's actually one where one of the natives are watching, are looking at the babies that they drop down into the water in their stone. I also gave you pictures of the lake to see how what the stone actually looks like. That gave it its name.
Mm-hmm.
But get the hell out of here. I was going through all of the, when you put in water babies, there was a book that was published called The Water Babies. Nothing related, but not related, but kind of the stories were kind of very similar of how it came to be a unique, the respect kind of level of it.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, I posted a picture of the book too because I was really interested because it's a very old book. The water babies are scary as fuck. The end. Don't go looking for a baby crying on the water.
Yeah.
How fucked up is that in the beginning, or any
Yeah.
I mean, motherly instinct. I would be like, what the fuck? There's a kid. My motherly instincts would.
I think any decent human being's instinct would be help the baby.
Yeah.
While you were telling the story, I was thinking about how if it was the drowning of the not fit children by the Paiutes,
The malformed.
yeah, that those babies spent eternity proving their parents wrong, that they could hack it, seeking parental approval, even crossed over.
Yeah, I don't know.
Crazy. I was looking up while you were talking. I was looking up the maps of missing people versus cave system.
Yeah,
there's a tiny little area right there because that lake is directly across from Sacramento, and there's a little pocket, but also there's a huge national forest. So
yeah. Is it the Truckee River?
no, it's a national forest in California.
Oh, but that pocket is the forest? Is that what you're saying?
No, that pocket is the lake, but right next to the lake, it's at the border of California almost.
Yeah.
You cross over to that California border, there's a national forest.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the gentleman that went fishing was from California. But I don't.
That's just wild how people go missing in that lake and end up in another lake.
Well, yeah, and that's what's so intriguing is, okay, if it's a terminal lake and the only inlet is the Truckee River and Lake Tahoe overspills into, I don't know. It was a story. It led me in all different kinds of directions.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
And still confirms that I have no confidence to be in water. No, to be scared. All right, what do you got? I want to hear your story.
You.
Yep. Or are we gonna
What?
the matter, baby?
What?
Am I asking you after the podcast, or are you gonna tell the whole world about the matter, baby?
You can ask me now.
Oh, because they're mad? What is the matter, baby?
Nothing, baby. What's the matter with you?
Jesus. Get out of here. Okay.
Your water babies are the only real babies. There's no such thing as a matter baby. Well, I didn't do a place. I did a thing.
Oh God.
I did a thing. I did something that we've actually done before.
What?
You and I have done you and I have partaken in this activity.
Geocaching.
No, but close. So yeah, so I did a subject. I researched an activity that you and I have partaken in the past, and we had a lot of fun. Actually, Jack was with us when we did it. Do you remember when we went for our drive?
Yeah, we went to the seaside. No.
No.
What did we? What do we do, Jack?
Well, it was during one of our Sunday drives. Like Boo Crew, like we've said in the past, we love taking drives and exploring new places and just seeing the sights, so to speak. And one of the things that I introduced Jinx to not that long ago that we did once, and we ended up in actually really weird places.
Oh, the no, that thing. I know what you're talking about. I forgot what you call it.
Randonautica.
Yeah, that thing.
So I did my subject on Randonautica, and for anyone who hasn't heard of Randonautica, it actually became super popular on TikTok a few years ago. I'll start at the beginning and answer the question of what is Randonautica. It was an app that was created by Joshua Langfelder in early 2020. It's an app that uses a quantum random number generator to provide users with random coordinates to visit, encouraging them to set an intention before they embark on their journey. Users might think of something like joy or mystery or paranormal, and then follow the map to see where it leads. The app's core relies on quantum random number generation, which draws on the principles of quantum physics to generate truly random numbers. Unlike the pseudo-random number generators used in most applications, quantum randomness is using this data. Randonautica aims to break users out of their habitual thinking patterns and encourages them to interact with the world in a new way. The idea of, quote, setting an intention has intrigued psychologists and researchers alike. Studies on intention setting have suggested that individuals who are primed with specific goals may be more likely to perceive related stimuli in their environment. So I have a few real life Randonautica stories that I came across that I also saw on TikTok as they were happening back when, COVID was happening. So all you really had was TikTok.
So this is kind of like, you have to say it to set it in motion, kind of.
Yeah. So like when we did it, we were thinking spooky or scary or something like that. Yeah. And we ended up in a freaking forest.
We did.
Which was crazy.
We did. State, like dirt road in it.
Yeah.
Like scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Then we ended up around all these freaking mansions. Remember that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, and before we ended up in the forest, we ended up on these back roads in the woods. Remember that?
Yep.
We were scaring the shit out of ourselves. And it was a beautiful day, too. Like, it was sunny out. Middle of the day. It was gorgeous. So, I mean, I'm a true believer in this being a true thing. And even before I met you, I've actually done it with other people and being super specific about seeing yellow, the color yellow, and being led to a yellow door on a house. And
you did it with your mom, no? You did it with your mom.
I did it with a few people, yeah. So it's an interesting concept, and a lot of people get really interesting results. And I am a true believer in the quantum realm. And the quantum realm, for anybody who doesn't know or doesn't know much about it, or do you know about the quantum realm? I've spoken to you about the quantum. It's basically everything that you don't think exists on some type of plane. Everything exists. Santa exists. Bigfoot exists. The boogeyman exists.
Yeah.
All these things exist. They're just on different planes. They're in different realms than we are. Right. Sometimes the veil lifts and those things come into our realm or we go into their realm.
Okay, there are those people that believe that it's time lapsing, right? Is that different?
Quantum realm, yes. No, that's right. But you're thinking about a different lifting of the veil.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to tell you about some stories that have come from people using the Randonautica app. One of the most widely reported Randonautica experiences occurred in June of 2020 when a group of teenagers in Seattle used the app and found a mysterious suitcase on a beach. Upon opening it, they discovered human remains.
What?
Yeah. This led to an official investigation and became a viral sensation on TikTok. And while it could be argued that this was merely an unlucky coincidence, the fact that these teenagers set out with the intention of finding something mysterious makes it a little unsettling. Another story involves a user named Jessica who set her intention to, quote, find something supernatural. And she was led to an abandoned house at the edge of her town where she claimed to have seen shadowy figures moving inside of the house and heard faint whispers. Jessica documented her experience on social media, sharing eerie photographs of ghostly outlines that others believe could be evidence of paranormal. This one you're going to like. One Randonautica user actually set their intention as, quote, something fun and ended up having an interesting encounter. They were directed to a wooded area not far from their home. As they approached the coordinate, they heard rustling sounds and saw movement between trees. Suddenly, a figure dressed as a clown emerged from the woods, staring at them without saying a word.
Get the fuck out of here.
The clown stood there for a few minutes before disappearing back into the forest. The user managed to capture part of the incident on their phone, which went viral on TikTok. While it's possible this was an elaborate prank, the sheer coincidence of encountering such a figure after setting an intention is kind of unnerving.
But like, that's that person. Like when you think of something fun, that's not fun.
Not for you,
me.
but maybe a clown is fun for them. Not a clown in the fucking woods. So there was another user named Chris who set an intention as history and was led to a location deep in the countryside. When they arrived, they found an overgrown path that led them to a small hidden cemetery from the 1800s.
What?
The gravestones were old and weather-worn, and many of them belonged to children who had died in the same year, suggesting an outbreak or a tragedy of some kind. Chris reported feeling an overwhelming sense of sadness and unease, as if the area was haunted by lingering grief. The discovery left Chris wondering whether the app had guided him to a place of forgotten memories that wanted to be uncovered.
Well, that one's sad. It could have been the outbreak of influenza or smallpox or something.
Maybe. The last one I have, there were a group of friends that decided to use Randonautica with the intention of finding, quote, something creepy. Those are always bad ones. And we do it too.
We did it.
Guilty. The app directed them to a deserted field on the outskirts of their town. When they arrived, they found an old, tattered doll sitting upright in the middle of the field.
Hell no.
There were no houses or other signs of human activity nearby, making the discovery even more unsettling. One of the friends reported that they began to feel dizzy and nauseous as they approached the doll, and they quickly decided to leave. Later, they wondered if the doll had been left there intentionally, or if it was something more paranormal. So, it begs the question of what's really going on here. And there's several theories that have come about by numerous people. And the first one that I want to talk about is synchronicity and Jungian psychology. The first theory is based on Carl Jung's concept of synchronicity, the idea that meaningful coincidences can reveal hidden connections between events. When Randonautica users set an intention, they may be unknowingly attuning themselves to certain stimuli, leading them to experience what feels like a significant coincidence. Imagine thinking about something mysterious and suddenly being led to an abandoned, eerie house. Jung would argue that your subconscious might be actively seeking and interpreting these patterns. Jung also proposed the idea of collective unconscious, which is a deeper layer of the psyche shared across humanity. Some believe that the app's use of random number generation may tap into this collective unconscious, leading users to locations with shared historical or cultural resonance. There's another theory that has more of a metaphysical explanation. Some believe that quantum randomness and user intention combine to create a form of quantum mysticism, where users are directed to places of heightened paranormal energy. This is based on the idea that consciousness and quantum mechanics are somehow interconnected. It's a controversial theory, but one that aligns with the experiences of many randonauts who claim that they've been led to haunted houses, or even encountered entities beyond our understanding. So before we wrap up, we need to talk about the importance of safety when using Randonautica. Many adventures do lead to harmless fun, but there are genuine risks. Trespassing, getting lost, or even encountering dangerous individuals are all real possibilities. The Seattle incident is a stark reminder of how these explorations can take a dark turn. So just some safety tips for anyone who wants to try Randonautica. Always go with friends. Avoid isolated areas and never enter private property. You got to trust your instincts. And if something feels wrong, leave immediately. And with that, I would just, love to go randonauticalizing with you.
It was pretty scary, though.
It was scary, and it was broad daylight, and it was a beautiful day out.
I mean, but like when it led us to the state park, and then the state park went to dirt road.
Yeah.
State parks usually don't go into dirt road unless like you're going to be camping or something. But this just kept leading us.
But there was no camping anywhere there.
None. Just
there was no
humongous
place
trees.
To park. Like if someone was coming up the other way, there was truly a one lane.
Yeah.
There was no way to squeeze anywhere.
Most definitely. Remember the motorcyclist? We saw one. We were like, why is nobody around?
Yeah.
That was a question we had.
Yeah.
And there was one motorcyclist that we passed before we got onto the dirt road.
Yeah. He let us pass.
Yeah.
That was scary.
Oh, and then the dirt road on one side, remember on both sides it was water.
Yeah.
So at some point like that washes away.
Yeah.
It floods.
And
the cave.
Yeah, the cave. That's when we really needed our binoculars.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, yeah. Randonautica, I think it's a mix. I think it could be intention, but sometimes it's just way too coincidental, which makes me feel like, when we have those glitch in the matrix moments.
Oh, God. Ours have been scary, though.
I know.
They've been like, what the fuck moments.
I know. We should definitely talk about that someday.
Yeah.
Those have been really, really crazy.
When in Virginia.
Virginia.
But like, you also said that like, even on our drives that we take, that when you did it one time, it led you up to those buildings up on the top of the hill. Was that one of the times? And the gate was locked?
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, screw this. The gate was open and I drove our asses up in there.
Yeah, that was the old military site where they made bombs. That was crazy. I didn't know that was there.
Yeah.
No one knew it was there. That was nuts.
There was like animals running around.
Yeah. You saw an animal and then it fucking disappeared.
Yeah.
And it didn't even make sense. Definitely if you're going to do it, be safe. The app is still up. I still have the app on my phone. And Randonautica has been around for years. Like before this guy made the app. Like you could do it manually. Manual Randonautica. You get a map or you put random coordinates on a map with your intention, and then you just go there on your own. And but he made it easier.
Amazing.
It's a lot of fun, but it's definitely, and I think it has a lot to do with who you have in your group when you go. If you have powerful spirits in your group, you're going to get more of a connection and more of a reaction.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, we didn't even tell each other what we were thinking until...
Well, yeah, and we were thinking
going.
the same thing, which was weird when we finally told each other. So
we seem to always find like the creepy abandoned buildings. Remember the abandoned golf course, the old golf course?
Oh, that was so cool. Wish I could find that again.
It's crazy. It's crazy the things that you find when you go on drives. Like I love just getting in the car, getting lost and driving. It's amazing. It's amazing what you find when you like get out there, like things that people don't pay attention to. They may pass it every single day and not really know what they're passing.
Man,
crazy.
It's crazy. And that wraps up another episode of Paranormal Howl Hour. We hope you enjoyed the ghostly tales and spine-tingling stories we've shared tonight. If you've got a thirst for more supernatural secrets and eerie encounters, make sure you like and subscribe to our podcast. You can find us on all our favorite podcast platforms. Listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, and Stitcher. We're also available on iHeartRadio. So no matter where you turn in, we've got you covered. Want to join the conversation or share your own paranormal experiences? Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. We would love to hear your short stories and spooky theories, so don't be shy. Send your stories over to boocrewhq@hotmail.com with a chance to be featured on an episode of the Howlcast. Again, that's boocrewhq@hotmail.com.
Because we're hot.
But not male. We're ridiculous.
I know.
Your support keeps the haunt alive and helps us bring more spine-chilling content. Until next time, keep your lanterns lit and your minds open. The shadows are always lurking. Keep howling.
Oh.